Perfect. So welcome everyone. Yeah, it's plenty of us today. Happy eclipse. You know, it's always interesting to do this sort of workshops during the eclipse season because it's eclipse season for everyone, including me. So it's been a very interesting last 24 hours. What I've been reading on Instagram and by email, by people that have been reading the newsletter, it's been quite intense for most of us from what I recall, but we are still here alive to tell. So that's quite impressive. So how are we going to spend the next hour? We're going to spend the next hour looking at this upcoming eclipse cycle because there is something very specific about the one that is coming tonight. So for the one that are in US, so it's this evening. For the one in Europe, is in the middle of the night. So we're going to have an amazing sleep. Probably not. So whatever is going to happen tonight, it's very good to work with the dreams that are going to come up. So you see, we're going to look at the astrology. It's good to do like some sort of activities or just observing what's going on around us because we want to look at this from an holistic perspective. As I was saying earlier, so it's important to have your chart in front of you. I usually use astro.com. There is also AstroSeek. There are both two websites that offer like free charts. Like you just can see the horoscope. So in general, this is the website that I suggest you to anything that's to do with astrology. So I can see here that there are some of my super nerdy students, some other astrologers, complete beginners. We got a bit of everything. So I'm going to explain this like I would explain this to my mom. So for some of you, it's going to be like big revelation news. For some others, a bit less. But for the ones that are quite, you know, on in their own astrological process, I promise I'm going to try to make this as entertaining as possible. Good. Saying that, so I'm going to tell you some things. There is a chat. There is also going to be some questions. Usually there is music, but 3 minutes ago just disappeared. So whatever. The idea is that I'm going to tell you some piece of information. I also going to ask you some questions. So feel free to share in the chat. Just write this in your own journal, whatever you prefer. So we know we're just going to try to make this as dynamic as we can. And every 5-10 minutes, I'm going to check your own questions and see if there is something that needs to be addressed or something that is not clear. Of course, if you bring some very specific things about your own chart, I'm not going to answer to this now because it may not be relevant, like for the whole group. So if you try to stay a bit more general, it would be amazing. Saying that, so let's look at the title, Eclipse 24-27. Whoa. So when we're working with eclipses, the eclipses, they come in a bunch. Usually there are like 7 of them. So it's a story that unfolds within time. I did another eclipse workshop about the Aries, Libra some time ago. I think some of you were already there. And we were building up this story. So it's like within the months. So first of all, whatever we're going to talk about today, you're taking notes of, I invite you to put in a place that you noticing something that you want to remember in some months. This is not like a full moon in which I'm doing my own thing and just going to move on, because this is going to be the beginning of a story that is going to end in 2027. Once we know which is the seed that we're planting in the soil, the easier it's going to be to understand which kind of plant is supposed to grow out of it, right? If we're just putting some random seeds, it's going to take a bit of time to make it clear. Now, when we're working with the eclipses, do we do rituals? We don't do rituals. So different astrologers have different opinions. My personal take on it, the thing that you have to remember is that the sense of time completely shifts, because when we work with eclipses, we are working with the nodes of the moon. So with past life, present lives. So all these things that have to do with time lapses, like the time feeling like longer or shorter, or there was a decision that I always, wanted to take. It's like it's been years, and now out of the blue, I'm feeling that something has to happen. So the eclipse brings a bit of, it could be drama, but it's the plot twist. It's the moment, where you're watching a movie or 1 hour and a half, and then like we're 60 minutes in, and you know that there's going to be the thing, right? That is going to make the rest of the story unfold. That's what's happening. Yeah, this is what eclipses are all the small turning point moments. This doesn't mean that you have to do something, but there is something happening around you. That's for sure. So when we're working with the eclipses, usually they come in pair. So we know that tonight is the full moon eclipse in Pisces. So also Virgo has to be included. So we're going to look at both of them, but they're quite unpredictable. So we're going to be open to surprise, unpredictable things. Looking at the astrology today, we can have a quite clear idea about what the topics may be, though. And the solar one aligns with the new moon, and the lunar one aligns, you see, with the full moon. So this is the reason why some are called solar eclipses and some that are called lunar eclipses. In another moment, you know, there are times in which I feel more inspired to explain more astronomy around that, but today the moon is conjunct Neptune, so maybe this is not the day. But just for you to know, like we are working with the moon, the sun, and the earth. So the moon is just hiding when we're having a solar one. So this is the moment in which we are setting an intention, in which is like we are having this general feeling of new things, okay? We are here though. So what is interesting is that this is the first eclipse of its own cycle. So, you know, without knowing anything about astrology, it's like, oh, wow, it's the first one. It's a beginning. So you're having this feeling that we're going to work with something new. No. So here we are starting from the end, because we are starting with a full moon in a new sign. We are not starting with a solar eclipse. You know, this is not a workshop. It's like, okay, let's think about a new thing we want. We have to look at the things that are already there, and some things we're gonna have to get rid of. So on an emotional level, because some of you are nodding in worry. Amazing. So in terms of shift, like there is something in your consciousness that is changing. We put pause here for a second. But wait, Georgia. I read that in 2 weeks, there's going to be an eclipse in Aries. It's not supposed to be, okay, so you see, that's my teacher brain. I'm going to answer your question before so we're in between cycles. So we started the Aries Libra cycle in 2023. It's going to finish in 2025. So we're going to have 2 more, one on the 2nd of October and another one in the 29th of March. If you're interested in that, there is another workshop for it. But why I put this here? Because it's like what's happening is that there are like these 2 different dynamics are meeting up for the months to come. So here we have to look of what happened in the previous episode. So this is the previous season, okay? This is new eclipse, new season. Let's look at what happened in the previous season for a second. Otherwise, we don't know what's wrong with all these characters. So 2023, 2025, the topic had to do between you and me, relating, become dependent, getting more independence. You know, when I did this workshop about Aries, I remember telling people like, most people gonna break up because it was something about becoming independent, like finding your own way, breaking up from like love relationships, people you work with that you started projects together, friendships with whom you thought, you know, would have like, I don't know, got like some nice piece of land in Portugal together. Like there were like lots of these situations in which we had to do our own thing on a collective level. War, I mean, we know what's going on, so I don't need to get there. But wildfires. On a personal level, the question is self-assertion, independence, taking action. This is not over. So while we're going with this full moon, on one side, we want to ask ourselves, what do we want? And how do we want it? But what is not worth fighting for anymore in your relationships? So you see, in this last 18 months, we had a first clue of all the things that are not that good in terms of relating, and we know that. And as I said at the beginning, we are starting with an ending. So the first big thing that this eclipse is bringing, and you know, it's not, I think I wrote this in my newsletter, like there's nothing to fix. It's not confrontational, you know, it's not Mars, it's not a fight, it's not me coming to you a bit like, look, it's been a great Pisces is about flow, it's about fading. So If I don't feel connected to Susanna anymore, I don't need to call her, you know, I can just stop calling. And that's what this full moon is bringing, is like, where is a place in which there's no need to put that much effort anymore. To give a bit of a insight astrologically, look at the places in which Aries and Libra are in your natal chart. Because these two houses have been under scrutiny, and they are still under scrutiny at the present moment. So, you know, when I see this, you know, if you're relating or if there is something that you want to share, yeah, so something, yeah, is asking is like, why it's Pisces and then the North Node is in Aries. Because the thing is, when we're having the node, so it's usually a couple of degrees after or before. So that's the reason why there is the tilt. So this is the first question for you. So invitation, write this down in your nice notebook. I would suggest you also to have an eclipse small notebook, that which you can go back every time there is a new eclipse in the same sign. So we started with the Aries question. Did I manage to get more self-assertive in the area in which Aries is located? Were some lessons that you managed to integrate? The area where is Libra in your natal chart. Is this a place, we're gonna look also at the houses in a minute, for those of you that like, you don't know what I'm talking about. For those of you who know. The area where Libra is, did I manage to find a bit more compromise? So now with the Pisces Virgo, this whole journey officially gonna start next year. But we are having the first glimpse. We are having a trailer. When we are watching a trailer of a movie, we usually get a feeling if we want to watch the movie or not, right? At least that's me, you know, watching a trailer, I'm like, this looks rubbish, not interested. That's what we're having here. So the insights, the patterns, and the lessons that are gonna shape your 2025 and your 2026 have to do with things that happened yesterday, that are happening today, and that are happening tomorrow. It's not just, you know, exactly the moment in which the eclipse is happening. It's also 1-2 days before, 1-2 days after, because, you know, the body is readjusting to that. So you see what I wrote here. This is a start, this is an ending, starting point. So let's think for a second about Virgo and Pisces. So let's write this in the chat. When we're thinking about Virgo, what are you thinking about? Dan, I'm gonna answer this question of the houses in a minute, because it's gonna be a visual, so it's gonna be super clear. So when we're thinking about Virgo, what are we thinking about? Earthy. Yeah, what else? Service, structure, analytical. Perfect. What else? Details, order, the ritualist, beautiful. What else? Critical. Yeah. Analytic, rigid. Yeah. Anything else? Analytical, health, anxiety. You see, many of you, like, there is a word that is coming over and over, health. So as you can see here, this is a topic here. We need to take care of our health. So this is what we are with Virgo. When we are looking at Pisces, which words comes to your mind? What do we have with Pisces? Dreamy, yeah. Collective, yeah. Spiritual, creative, the Lulu, psychic, flow, holistic, beautiful, human, intuitive. Bravissime. So what's happening is that we want to go towards more of all these qualities. So in the next 18 months, we are invited to bring more intuition, to bring more spirituality, to bring more creativity. For some of you, it's going to be easier than others. And now we're going to look at relationship to your personal natal chart. But for those of you, it's like, Georgia, I'm very connected with my intuition. I'm very connected with my empathic part. I'm very connected with my own creativity. It's not about escapism. I'm connected on a spiritual level. For these people, it's going to be a bit easier. If you feel there is something, though, that has to do with being extremely practical, precise, like also it's this idea of rationality. If you're more on this axis, it's gonna be slightly more difficult. So it's important here to do a bit of a inner assessment. It's like, I'm more in my own Virgo side or I'm more in my own Pisces side. Of course, for those of you that go more, I have tons of planets in Pisces. So yeah, lots for me has to do with that. But also have a South Node in Virgo, so it's also very present in my chart. But maybe for some of you, you have one energy more on one side to the other. So these are all topics that we want to welcome, okay? So briefly, let's talk about which are the collective ones, because I know that most of you here today, because we want to work on our personal things. But on a collective level, the nodes are also bringing some sort of shifts with the things that have to do, with more collective things. Unemployment, healthcare, because we're talking about health and holistic, AI, reality, virtual reality, illusion, what is real, what is not, data disruption, because Virgo loves to control. Pisces doesn't like the borders. Virgo is the tax office. Pisces is like, what are taxes in a world full of love, right? So these are some of the themes. Spirituality, we're going to talk more about spirituality. We're going to talk more about divine connection and about water itself. So there will be probably more news around oceans or floods or things that have to do with the theme of water and social service and healthcare. I mean, I'm already seeing some things around the issue with mental health that we have on a collective level, but I'm not sure we're taking this very seriously. There is a proper epidemic that has to do with suicides. And again, it's something that is kind of there, but we're not taking that seriously. With the nodes moving towards this direction, all this is going to be quite intense topics on a collective level. Now, let's go into personal businesses. So, first of all, when we're looking at a natal chart, there are like 4 main elements. So here we got the signs. So these 12 are the signs of the zodiac. The signs we're looking for, this is the first one. This is Virgo here. And the second one is Pisces. It has to be in front. That is here, okay? So these are the 2 signs we want to work with. These are the planets. So you see here, if you have any planets in Virgo or if you have any planets in Pisces, this is going to go under a very nice evolutionary shaky. And then we got the aspects. This is how the planets talk to each other. But this is not a topic for today, but just for you to know, in case you're wondering, what are these lines about? So this is how the planets are talking to each other. Here we got the numbers, and these are the things that we are interested in. So the numbers correspond to different areas of life. So to make this very clear, you see that here we got number 11. So this means that your 11th house is in Virgo. So house number 11. And also you see that there is a part of Virgo that is here before the house number 11. So it's part of the house number 10. So it's also part of house number 10. So with this person, with the things we're going to do today, so this is what I want you to do with your own chart. For those of you that are not sure, you can share your chart in the chat. I got some of my nerds here that can help you to sort it out if you got it right. So in this case, will be part of the house number 10 and house 11. When we are looking here, so we're going to see that it's going to be part of house number 4, but mostly house number 5. So the most important is like 5 and 11. It's where it starts. But also, since it's the eclipse, we also want to see the other 2 houses. I hope this makes clear for everyone. Again, if it's not clear, share your chart in the chat. Do you all have this element? Okay, let's just take a quick look. Do you all know where your Virgo Pisces is in your chart? You're there? Amazing. We are doing great. Okay. So which are the three focuses? We have to work, because you see, one doesn't exclude the other, but one has to include the other. So we want to balance the practical things that we do in our lives with the spiritual things that we're doing in our more private life. I'm doing meditation on my own. Like, I see lots of my students. I study astrology. I don't tell anyone because people will think I'm completely nuts. I'm doing my tarots in the morning, but you know, sometimes I shuffle 3 times and I feel stupid because when I have a specific count, you know your own way to deal with the tool. But that's the thing with this North Node moving into Pisces is, what are we ashamed about if not connecting to the divine? It's like, okay, if looking to a microwave that is doing 777 is giving me joy today, great, good for you. I mean, I don't see anything bad with that, right? So how do we connect with this topic of practical and spiritual? And how can we give more space to the spiritual world? Second, empathy. So compassion towards others and towards ourselves, because again, we are about to get out of the Aries North Node, in which I have to think about myself. I have to learn about my own freedom. I have to find my own way and da, 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 da. Pisces is more like it's good vibes. So how we can coexist, because if you win, we win. If I help you, I also gonna help myself. And then we want to go more with trusting the flow of life. The more you're gonna control the outcome of what's gonna come to you during these eclipses in Pisces, the less is gonna work. And I know we have to pay rent and we have things to do. You know, I'm looking for a new place. It's not I just could sit and contemplate, but I'm looking, you know, it's eclipse day and I'm like, you know what, whatever. So how can we just go with the flow of things? Yeah, Georgia, but I told this person that, you know, for this next 6 months, I'm gonna do this. I just gave my word. Okay. What happens if you change your mind? What happens if something is changing? That can you give yourself the permission to change your mind? So here I have a question for you, and I'm gonna give you a minute to answer to that, to think through it, because this is quite important here. You could share this in the chat. You just can write in your journal. What is a big dream in your life that you're ready to let go? Something that you've been trying to manifest for some time, but it's not working. It's not flowing. You know, I've been trying to launch these courses 7 times. It just, people don't see that. But when I do anything else, wow, they go for it. Yeah, you know, Georgia, I tried to relocate to this country and now I'm looking for a place. I'm not finding anything. I'm studying for this master. I'm trying this exam for the 3rd time, but I really don't like it. What is that? What is something you've been trying to manifest that is just, yeah, maybe it's just not the case? Love, in the meantime, everyone is answering the rest. Thank you for that. Because the thing that we want to work with, you know, today, tonight, especially, because this full moon is about like going the Lulu, but with dreams that actually make sense to us, because here there are some things, especially that have to do with other people, because still we're talking about relationships. So some projects that you had, some ideas that you had, a retreat you want to be part of, something that you wanted to write with someone. Dana, did you raise your hand? Yeah, do you want to mute yourself while people are writing if you have a question?
Yes, I have a question, because you always talk about that axis of Libra and
Aries.
Pisces. And I wonder if you interpret the whole thing on this level of the nodes. So we're not talking about the nodes, we're talking about this collective shift from the eclipse season, right?
Yeah, because it's
Because
changing.
this is like the beginning of this new chapter of eclipse seasons. Do I
Yeah,
understand that?
the eclipse,
Okay.
the eclipse are connected to the nodes.
Yeah, right. But it's moving. So this
Yeah,
is like the new chapter in the eclipse thing, right?
yeah,
So if my
exactly.
nodes are exactly the same way around, so the the nodes that are on the sky now are
You are
exactly on my
36.
nodes, but on the other way around. So
So,
I've got
okay, how old are you? 36? Oh, so this is called nodal return. So for those of you,
thank you.
yeah, yeah. So for those of you that have the nodes in Pisces, Virgo, I'm another one of those. This is more important because now you're gonna get some specific hints about where you are supposed to go or where you need to go. Yeah. So for those of you, those of you that had the notes in Aries and Libra, the last year and a half were very important. For the people that go Virgo Pisces, it's going to be like a big shift. Like it's going to be a big jump. You're going to look like 2 years time and going to be like, wow, I haven't seen that coming in this way. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So overall, like this is thing of big dreams that we have, because most probably the big dreams that have to go are connected to the place where Pisces is in your chart. So we're going to get there in a second. So what's happening is a new energetic cycle. So we are moving from the theme of community and people and life and what I want to do, what I want to do it. Here we are going into the tangible world of emotions, love, cooperation, sensitivity. So we're slowly moving into the world of feelings and three-dimensional perception. So you see with the eclipses in Aries and Libra, the goal has been really looking like finding your own way. Now we have to feel our own way. Okay, so then I was spoiling that. So first of all, if you got notes in Virgo Pisces, this is extra important for you. If you have planets in Virgo or Pisces, this is going to be very important for you. If you have any planets in Pisces, they're going to have an awakening, because this is what the nodes do. They awaken things. They change timeline. They make you aware of things. It's like, okay, yeah, now you're ready, to do this next big thing. Oof. So for those of you who have planets in Pisces, this planet's going to go under a sort of, it's not restructuration, really, the word. It's like openness, acceptance. If you have some planets in Virgo, there's going to be something in that area that's going to be released. So if you have a Venus in Virgo, now we're going to look at the list of the planets. Maybe we just have to be more open and embracing our partner in a different way, being more tolerant. So the planets that you got in Virgo have been asked just to chill a bit. And the planet that are in Pisces are asked to be in the forefront. Okay, so these energies we want to put on the front, and the one of Virgo just kind of gonna close the line in its own way. And if you have any planets in Gemini or Sagittarius, these two symbols, they're gonna have a more of a testing phase. So planets in Virgo, we release. Planets in Pisces, we welcome. There is someone that has the microphone on somewhere. Okay, now everyone is off. And when we're having the same with Gemini and Sag, these planets need a bit of readjustment, because basically what is Gemini is like, we're gonna have to chill a bit more, deal with a bit less of ideas. And when we have Sag, It's a bit less about moving around places and more like feeling into places. You know, instead of traveling the world in order to find myself, I can meditate on that. I can go to a different space without actually moving from anywhere. Okay, so okay, some of you are just finding their own thing. Okay. The people that have lots of Virgo are complaining. I love it. So if you have the sun in one of these 4 signs that I mentioned, so you see these signs as some special tests. So if it's the sun, something that's to do with your identity, something that's to do with your ego, we just have to flow with it. If it's with the moon, we are changing our emotional patterns, our family dynamics, our domestic life. If it's Mercury, messages, insights, decisions, the way in which we are thinking is going to change. Which is Venus, some shifts in romantic partnerships. And you know, while you're looking at this list, if you have any planets in any of these signs, just see how you feel about that. It's like, no, I don't want to change anything in that area. Where is the resistance? Because if there is a resistance, these nodes gonna make you unfold that. Mars, more conflict, more action. There is something about the way in which you are dealing with things has to change. If it was Jupiter, something that's to do with abundance, with growth, with the studies that you're doing, with the teachers that you're having. If it was Saturn, there are some challenges. There is something, like especially for people that got Saturn in Pisces, because they've also been going through their own Saturn return. So there's like, this is a big, 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 big turning point. So this is your time to put your shit together, excuse my French. And it's like, okay, you know, it's on me. I'm responsible for myself. I'm an adult. I'm fully functioning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. With Uranus, it's like we got some shifts, some breakthrough there. With Neptune, if we are having, I mean, this case, we can't really be in Pisces because you will be too young to be in this call, but it could be in Virgo. There is something about intuition, creativity. So there is something about the third eye opening up. And with Pluto Virgo people, like end of 60. So there's gonna be some crisis point of like, what I'm doing in the society. Do people see me anymore? Am I losing my own power? Like a big, big existential thing. So for those of you who got Saturn in Pisces and Pluto in Virgo, crisis is okay. We want to welcome the crisis. You know, that's the best thing that we could do with this crisis. So here, now that we detected the charts, and I saw that some of you manage, and also for those of you, if it's not clear after the call, and also for those who are watching the recording, you can send me your chart and I can tell you which are the houses to look at. So these are the meaning of the 12 houses. So we want to look at the axis. Let's say, you know, I have Pisces and Virgo in my house number 1 and my house number 7. So the topic has to do like, how do I look like, my appearance, how things begin, my own ego, like putting myself first. The 7th house has to do with others, with partnership, with marriages, with contracts, with public relationship, with everything that involves others. So this is the axis of me and you. Now we're gonna break it down, okay? The 2 and the 8. The second, the 8th house has to do with the things we have. So the second house is like, it's your own money, it's your own stuff, it's your own objects, it's your own self-worth, all these things that are tangible. The 8th house is all the stuff of other people, heritage, money, taboo, all these things that are not very clear, like we cannot really look at. The 3rd house, what is close to us, siblings, short trips, communication. 9th house, philosophy, meaning, wisdom. So what is close, what is local, what is global? Then we got the house number 4. 4 is about roots, beginning, family, where you're coming from. And 10th house has to do with your profession, with your vocation. 5, sex, children, creativity, pleasure, and 11 groups. So it's like my own creativity, our creativity. And then we go 6 and 12. So sixth house is service, routine, health, 12th house, spiritual things, woo-woo stuff, charity, dream world. So these topics that you're seeing here in relationship to your own natal chart, we are starting a new chapter in our book around these topics. So the house in which Virgo is located in your chart is a place in which we want to pay attention to details, in which we want to serve others, in which we want to build healthy routines, in which you want to pay attention to details. If you haven't been doing that, okay, Georgia, so my Virgo is in the house number 11. So, you know, in terms of groups, in terms of friendships, everything is a bit chaotic. I got friends here and there. Yeah, it doesn't look very, very practical. Like I'm not very connected with people. I don't manage. This means that your Virgo energy is out of balance. And during this eclipse and the next eclipses that is going to be in this axis, you're going to have to sit and deal with it. On the other end, where the house in which Pisces is located in your own chart is a place in which we want to trust our intuition, in which we want to surrender to the flow, in which we want to embrace spirituality, in which we want to let go of control. If you are putting resistance in this area of your life, if you're trying to control lots of things, if you're trying like to have everything in a specific way, next upcoming months, there is some work that we need to do. Okay? So, question for you. That I'm putting out there, you know, you're going to have the evening to think about journaling, and that's what I'm going to do after our call. What is something you deeply desire to surrender to or to trust in, but you find yourself struggling to let go or control? It's something that's to do with your parents. It's something that's to do with your work. You know, George, I want to change job, but I'm so scared that I won't find another job. I want to trust. I want to trust that I could find the right partner for me, but I'm afraid that this person won't be able to receive me. Like, because the Virgo part, you know, it has to be in a certain way. Like, you know, there is a certain level of agenda that is preventing you from reaching anything else. Yeah, Pisces means let go, control. Because that's the thing, Pisces is connected with the higher consciousness and the divine. So it's all these things that are a bit difficult to describe or even to grasp. It's this voice that it says like, just trust and relax, the universe as your back. Easier said than done. Someone is asking, the 8th house has to do with sex, but what is the difference? The 5th house is recreational sex. It's Tinder sex, it's fun sex. 8th house is intimate, I'm gonna die through you, we are merging through one sort of sex. So completely different level of intensity. 5th house Leo for fun, 8th house Scorpio, yeah. You know, it's this thing of like, oh, you are mine, I'm yours, this sort of thing. If we don't know how to answer to this question, this is something that this eclipse and the next eclipses in Pisces is gonna help us to give an answer to. So let's try to add a couple of elements to build up our new story. So there are 2 cycles. One is the inverted sign cycle and one is the Cyrus cycle. One is every 18 years, so 1, 6, 7 years, when basically the nodes were in the same place. Let's start with the previous time. So 19 years ago, in 2006, oh my God, it's some time ago, the nodes were in the same position. So if you're thinking back, if you're thinking about those years, if you want some help, look at the house where Pisces is in your chart. You know, in my case, it's in the house number 1, so 2006, 7, it was like when I enrolled to uni, was like so many things happening back then. What shifts happen in your work, life, balance, your daily habits? Did you change job? Did you change diet? Did you make any change to improve your health and routine? Did you have a breakdown? It's like, how was that time of your life? Because the way in which you dealt with that time of your life is going to give us insights about what is the turning point of this moment in time. What was the relationship you had with your body? Were you focusing on being productive? Was it something that you had to let go back then? Was it something that had to move in an unpredictable way? Like for me to find my own flow, I remember I had like this whole plan of things I wanted to do at uni. And I found this job out of the blue. I was working in an army, like in the Italian army, and I was like, I'm literally the last person you would imagine a place like that. But it was a very interesting challenge because I was clearly against it, and I was teaching some things there, and there was so like opening. I was like, oh wow. And the money that I make with that I use this money to do other things. It was just like all this. You see, that's the thing with Pisces. Pisces is this game of like, yeah, we're at the right time at the right place. And then there is this thing like, well, I don't know where it came from. I would just roll with it. So take some time tonight to think, what was this version of me? Also, for those of you that access at pictures, look at these pictures. I was 9, 10, but I moved houses to a new city. I had to make new friends, lots of change and adjustment, because this topic may repeat. Pisces is my natal 10th house. In 2006, 2007, I had an amazing job as a destination manager abroad. And 2007, I decided to stay in Italy, where I started a relationship. Marriage crisis that led me to divorce. I remember I decided I want to become a sex therapist. I will meditate on this. Yeah, you should. I produced the best work of my life. Many people benefit out of this. So you see all these things that are coming up. How these things relate to the present moment? What happened between that version of you and the version that who you are right now? Are you happy about it? Let's add another hint to the story. Let's go a bit closer in time. 2015. 2015, 2017, there were inverted nodes. So this thing was saying, Dana, the opposite way around. The north node was in Virgo, the south node was in Pisces. So we're doing like the shift. Back then, you were asked to put things in order. There was something, the Virgo area of your chart is the area in which some order was needed. For me, it was in the 7th house. Ta-da! I broke up. I was in this relationship for like ages, and I was like, you know what? I'm out. And I checked it today. It was on the eclipse. It was exactly on the eclipse. So you were asked to find a place of integrity within yourself. What were the things that you managed to put in order back then? Because you see, there are some things that you managed to put in order, but now we have to do a bit of a rectification. So if 7 years ago you were karmically asked to put things in order, now we are karmically kindly asked to put things in a bit of more chaotic way. And for those of you that got some water, it's a bit easier than others. So this is the journey. So we are here. You see, this is the first one. 25 degrees of Pisces. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have 6 more. So we're going to sit comfy. With this one, it's in September. So you see, we go March, September, March, August. So they are all moving almost together. So since this is the first one, these are gonna be all these points in your natal chart. So if you have planets at 25 Pisces, if you got planets at 23 Virgo, 15 Pisces, 29 Virgo, 12 Virgo, 4 Pisces, 2 Virgo, if you have planets or points or midheaven or ascendant in these signs between now and the next 24 months, expect some evolution, because the changes that the nodes bring, they don't have to be always like, whoa, haven't seen that coming. It also could be like a promotion, you know, depending how much you're going with the flow of things. Because when we're working with cycles and aspects in astrology, it always depends on the interaction that we manage to have with something. If I know that this is a good moment to have a meditation practice, to connect more with my spiritual self, to connect more with my emotions, to do more like a psychological work, and I'm doing that, this is going to be a way easier to navigate. If I'm completely just rejecting this area in my life, it's not going to be as easy. So all these spots in your chart gonna be influenced. So look where it is, like from first degrees of Pisces to last degrees of Pisces. All these areas are on. But today it starts from here. So look at where is 25 degrees of Pisces. Here you see it's like 5, 10. Every 5 there is a longer one. 15, 20, 25. So it's towards the end of Pisces. This is the key point for this eclipse and the process that goes between now and March. So we're not going to solve this in 1 week. We're putting the intention. If we put a strong intention at the beginning, the rest is going to be easier. So I told you, you know, I delivered the message. I've done what I have to do. So now you know. So how do we write this new story? We want to reawaken the dreamer. What part of you is emerging after a long journey on your own? You know, what needs at the frosting? What does need at the frosting? So this is the moment in which something needs to defrost. And this has to do, yeah, with 25 degrees in Pisces of your chart. Personally concerned is on my North Node, is on my life mission. So this upcoming months, I'm like, okay, what's next on the plate? So we want to begin a journey towards new spiritual growth. So do a visualization around the area of your chart. Observe, like now that you're looking at the point in your chart and you're looking at the area, do you feel anxiety? Do you feel peace? Do you feel relief? Do you feel concerned? What part of the inner self is ready to change after this emotional hibernation? Looking at the chat. You see here, if you don't have any planets at 25 Pisces, you might have no planets, but your chart needs to be in a house. You have to look where is 25 Pisces in your chart. So you see here, it's in the 11th house. What we're interested in is the house. So 25 Pisces has to be somewhere in your chart, okay? So first house is the ascendant. Yeah, the ascendant is very relevant. So it's also part of the first house. So let's look at the axis for each one of you. So I wrote a small exercise for each axis so that you can work on. So there's other things I do mornings in cafes. So what we have in first house, 7th house, it could be Virgo, it could be Pisces, it doesn't matter. So the focus is between self-identity and relationships. So how you're asserting yourself, your physical health, So for any of you that go Virgo, Pisces, first, seventh house, it's very important that you do a bit of a health check. How you've been treating your own body. What is the overall situation with digestion, with your food intake, with your vitality? Because there may be something that like your body is a bit weaker than you think, or maybe, you know, just may need a couple of vitamins or whatever there is, like a blood test, you know, never killed anyone. So the question here is, are you setting healthy boundaries in the partnership? Are you losing yourself in others? Because here we have to move from this idea of making everything perfect to make everything like a service or something greater. Because with this North Node in Pisces is like, you know, if I'm in a relationship that doesn't inspire me, any sort of relationship that doesn't inspire me, and it's not making a contribution on a collective level, what are we doing here? So for those of you that have Virgo Pisces axis here, this is the exercise for you. Write down 3 routines for your own self-care. You know, just like something that support you on a physical level. Write 3 things that could bring more compassion and flexibility in your relationships. The things with the houses, I will send you in a PDF, in attachment in the follow-up email when I'm going to send you the recording. So you don't have to write everything now, okay? So 3 ways in which you can bring more compassion in your relationships. How can I help my partner? What this person needs? How can I listen better? How can I be more patient? Homework? Commit to one of these relationship practices for the upcoming months. This is going to help you to navigate the shift. If we don't have compassion in our relationships, if we're not observing which are routines that are good for us, it's going to be a bit harder later. Okay? Annette, share your chart because I think it's in the 9th house and see what comes. 2nd house and 8th house. Here things get a bit more intricate because we are talking about resources. So stability, self-worth, possessions. Here there is something that has to change in relationship to your beliefs. So there's something in your belief system that is not working there. Some ideas is like I'm making money or things are flowing or trusting people. The exercise for you is write your current financial situation, your income, your expenses. Is this something that could be changed? Reflect on the things that you're sharing with others. Is there something we need to clarify about this Netflix account that we have? Take one action to organize your finances. Or having a tough conversation with someone with whom you're sharing something with for some reason. You're sharing a flat, you're sharing money, you're sharing a car, everything that is tangible. For those of you who got it in the 3rd and 9th house, so something has to do with your brain, with learning, with your interaction. How are you dealing with the world around you? Are you sharing your beliefs with others or not? Is there something that you are thinking or something that you are studying that you want to share with others? So if that's the case, there is something around teaching that we want to change. So write a conversation you had in which you felt misunderstood. What was missing? How things could have been communicated in a different way? Which are some things you are believing in right now? Do people around you know about this? And what of these things need to be grounded in reality? So, have you been reading about something, but you were not very sure about the teacher? Was a bit of a weird vibe. What is that? And beliefs in general, like what is one that you can express freely out there? This is something I'm doing and I want to talk to you about this. 4th and 10th. So 4th and 10th, some of you were talking about the ascendant. So those of you go like 1st and 7th house or 4th or 10th house. Is that the axis? So they're a bit more tense. Because here we're talking about my own personal life, my home, my work, my foundation, my family dynamics. So between now and the beginning of 2027, again, this topic is gonna change a lot. Are there any sacrifices that we need to make in our own life to support our financial goal or professional goals? Or vice versa? How does it work there? Because something needs recalibration on work for you. Responsibilities you have at home and your career. At the conflicts, because you see also for some of you, you might have more than one house in Virgo-Pisces, so there could be different things going on. Is there a conflict? There is an adjustment that you can make at home or something you could do in your career to relieve your stress, organize your space, delegating tasks, getting a new assistant. Take action. Observe how your own life and professional life is, because something is changing. Could be unpredictable. We could do some preparation work there. 5th house, creativity, joy, fun, collective goals, self-expression, romance, group dynamics. Are your dreams too vague? How can you bring them into focus? It's like here, it's like, yeah, the limit is the sky. Amazing. We agree with that. But who do you need for that? What is something that brings you joy? Which is the community that you need? So this is the moment in which you want to start looking around. We want to be part of a group. We want to be part of a class, because this is going to change your motivation. So you got this axis, 9th, 11th, alone. You're not going to go anywhere. I'm telling you. And then we go 6th and 12th. So body and soul, daily routines, spiritual, health and work, healing from the past wounds. Are you giving yourself enough time to rest? Are you stuck in overwork? You see, with all these questions, if you are one of the two polarities, the opposite polarity is going to come to you. So if I have the notes in the 6-12 and I'm just like procrastinating a lot, this is going to be this other part that's going to be like, you have to really take care of your space, or the opposite way around. If you're just dealing with this endless list of things to do, it's like, no, there is this inner need that in order like to evolve, that we need to do. So here, great. Which are the habits that are draining? Which is a spiritual practice that can help you? How can I put this practice in my daily routine to find this sense of inner balance? Yeah, and as I said, I'm going to send all of this. Meditation, exactly. Well, if I have Virgo in the 12th house and Pisces in the 6th and 7th. Yeah, so first of all, the beginning of the story, Susanna, is where 25 Pisces is. Because the topics, you see, if you have Pisces in more than one house, it's going to get expressed during this all upcoming eclipse during the next 24 months. But like for today, the area is where 25 of Pisces and automatically 25 of Virgo, the opposite, are included. If we are setting this seed now, the plant is gonna grow deeper. I have one more tip for you, because you see, 1 hour together just flies. So this is Neptune. This is the guy that is connected to Pisces. So Neptune is the Lulu of the zodiac. It's the place in the chart in which we're a bit chaotic and we go with the flow, in which we can connect with our spirituality. now, in this moment, and this is for all of us, that the nodes are moving into Pisces for a bit, back and forth. And in general, for the eclipses to come, the area in which Neptune is in your chart is gonna be of great help, because this area is now karmically ready for possibilities. So this is the place in which we want to dream big. You know, at the beginning, I was asking you, what is something that we want also dream about? Look at the house where Neptune is. There is an area in your chart that can give you guidance, because you're naturally the Lulu there. So we're here to be the Lulu. Great, go to the Lulu land and be delusional. So this is how it looks like. So you see, for example, in this chart, is at the very beginning of the 9th house. So here there is something that's to do with spirituality. So you see, if you're looking at this chart, okay, so we got house number 11. There is something to look at the groups. And 9th house is something that has to do with spiritualities and teachings. So to this person, I would say, you know, find a group of like-minded people with whom you can talk about your own studies, being part of a group and do something with them. Maybe go on a spiritual retreat, like something of those sorts. So this is the strategy that we want to adopt, okay? So this week, work that is gonna just slowly unfold in the next 6 months. Area where Pisces is, area where Virgo is, we have to be a bit more chilled. Where Neptune is, where we could be very, very open, because the nodes are also connected with our karmic serendipity. So the more we connect with these areas, the more magical things that we couldn't see coming could come. Because the important thing with the eclipses is you think you know. We all think we know. You know, yeah, I'm going to talk to Sophia, and then, you know, I'm going to tell her this, and of course she's going to answer that. So I'm not going to tell her this because no. Here, the conversation can have a different ending. Here, your action can have a different impact on a personal and social level. So whatever you're going to do, the question is, how can I have an impact on a personal level and on a collective one? If you have no idea of what you are doing, it's gonna, and you know, when we think about collective, because a student of mine replied to the newsletter the other day, and she was like, you know, I get this thing that we have to look more at the collective. For you, it's easier because you work with the collective. I don't work with the collective. The collective gets expressed in many different ways. You know, for you, it could be your family, it could be a coworker. Every time I'm connecting to something that is outside of me, I can make an impact with that. You know, I don't have to have a full community to make an impact on something. Okay? So these are the main things. I'm gonna look. So, do you have any questions or sharings or ideas or doubts or insights that you want to bring here? Louise, unmute yourself. I don't know. I probably didn't pronounce that right. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I have a question about the MC and IC axis, because I don't really understand, because I've got like a bit of a combo in the Pisces region, but when the moon is conjunct to the IC in a solar eclipse, how does that manifest in the chart? Is it heightened? And I don't really remember what IC really stands for.
Yeah, the IC, so it's where, okay, let me take a chart here. So in astrology, we go 4 axes, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these are 4 portals, okay? So the ascendant has to do with like me in the outside world. This is how I want to start things, right? And then the C, so the one on the other side, is like the things that I'm taking from the outside. The IC, you see that it's down. It's where we're coming from. Our roots, ancestors, family, parents, especially mom and dad, It's like something that is, you know, people that are tangible, because old ancestry is another house. So everything that's to do with your roots, your
In
start.
house 4 is even more heightened then.
Yeah, and the closer it is to the IC, the closer the connection with the portal is.
Okay.
So in this case, yeah, there could be something, you know, about a relationship with parents or shift that, you see, I'm going to unfold fully by the end, the eclipse journey. So here you may start noticing that there is something that you want to change in the dynamic with one of your parents, because now you're ready to do it. Because we're coming out slowly from the Aries one. So it's like, okay, I'm understanding in which way I can be independent. I could like finding my own way. And now I love you. I see you. And we want to find something that is good for me and for you, because that's the beauty of Pisces, you know, it's just like we're moving from Aries and Mars. That is like, Mars is about cutting. We cut this and we cut that. Pisces is like, I see you. I get it. I see you and you see me. There's no winner, there's no loser, but it's important that we try to have empathy towards each other.
Mm.
And if not, I mean, it's also okay. And we just flow to something else. I hope this answering a bit your question.
Yeah. I couldn't really grasp the ICMC thing. So where we come from and where we sort of
We're going, yeah.
heading.
The MC is our public, is our future, is our vision. So in terms of our profession, of our vocation, what we could bring next to the world.
Okay. So is there a sort of not exactly the same thing, but it's kind of like north node, south node, not exactly in the same area, but it's kind of like where you come from and what you have with you and where you're going and where you're ascending to?
In
kind
a
of?
way, yeah. Yeah, in a way, that with that logic, yes.
So you can get a full picture looking at those 4 elements kind of thing.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, always. When we're looking at the notes, when we're talking with Eclipse, they always help.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
We got any other questions? Dana, you can also use the option with the hand, because I see some of you. Did you raise your hand? No, you didn't. Kata? Yeah, that
Okay.
looks like a raised hand.
I have one confusion and one question.
Yes.
So the confusion is about what's happening in my personal life. So I have the eclipse almost on my MC, Pisces.
So up here.
And but what's what's going on is I said no, I don't go to my job today. I stay at my parents, and that is like the opposite, you know. The south node thing would have been I let go all this family stuff and I go to my job direction, you know, or
Not necessarily, because you see, that's the thing. We are starting, as I was saying, we are starting with an ending.
Yeah, okay.
So if your Pisces is in the 10th house, and you're like, you know, I don't want to do, I'm done.
I'm done, yeah.
I'm done, right?
Done.
Because that's the idea where Pisces is this weird trust.
Yeah.
That we need to have. But you see, it's scary. Because the ego part is like, no, we have to have it under control. So when we're having something like an eclipse, you see, there is the density of it. And Pisces is like, chill, have a nice meal, take a nap. Like, okay, that's it. Yeah. So it feels very much aligned.
Yeah.
I hope it makes sense.
Totally. It makes too much sense, everything.
Well done, Kata. Have a nice working rest. Don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Carlotta.
Yeah, and the second one was the Neptune thing, because you said Neptune, concerning Neptune, it's about being open.
Yeah.
And you mean the Neptune in
your natal chart.
Person's natal chart. Okay. In this,
because usually, that's the thing. Where usually Neptune is a place that's a bit tricky to work with. But with these notes, for the first time in our adult lifetime, at least since 2006, it's the first time in which we can go back and work with it in a way that is more creative.
Okay, cool.
My case is in the 11th house, so I'm considering is like, okay, what would happen if I would live with a community for some time? Or I don't know, all this, or create a new sort of group. It's all possible. That's the exciting thing. That's the thing that I love about Pisces, because you see, you're not going to work, but there is another unconscious choice that other things is gonna open up, because we are creating this new.
Nice. Yes.
Amazing. Good. Carlotta.
Thank you. So my questions will seem maybe a bit weird, but I'm a bit I'm not a nerd, as you know, but I'm always interested. But I don't understand always everything perfectly, and I'm super overwhelmed by this energy of this full moon or whatever is eclipse and whatever, and I'm super stimulated, and like patterns that I'm working on are coming back to me. So in these days, like yesterday and today, and at one point you said something like, whatever happens yesterday, today, and tomorrow, you will deal with it for the next 2 years. So I sent you an email for after, like bilaterally, but for now, this sentence that you said is relating to this, where is Virgo and where is Pisces, or related to what is happening now? Because I'm trying to unpack what is happening, and I want to give a good direction to my next 2 years. So I want to understand
where specifically Virgo and Pisces are.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because you will see, no, it's not a weird question. It was a quite clear question. You will see there could be some, can I ask you something, Carlo?
Yeah, of course.
Are you, like, what is the theme of this thing that happened?
The theme is my ex-partner and the repetition of history, but I think I can manage everything, but I cannot manage her again, abandoning my son. And this is the pattern that is like triggering me by promising something to my son and then just not taking responsibility for that, and me taking care of it and her attacking me on this. But this is like, it can be nothing, but for me, because of our past, I really like explode when I see that a person that I trusted and I gave my son into her hands is just misbehaving and attacking me.
Yeah, and
so
in
I
which
can manage everything bilaterally, me and her and the relationship, but not about my son. This freaks me out, like, and this is what is happening now.
In which houses are your Pisces and Virgo?
Luckily on communication, so I want to focus, I want to think that the issue is my communication with this person, and since I'm trying to really grow for myself, to maybe let down this dynamic, like she is trying to create the same dynamic and I have to push back. I don't know.
In these months, you could try speaking in a different way, because then when in March, we're going to have the second eclipse, that is going to give us the results of the work here. Because, maybe there's something we can talk about, or maybe there's going to be, something we don't need to talk about anymore. But as we were saying, it's a Pisces thing. This is not like a fighting sort of eclipse. It's like, how can we have compassion, understand the other person, but also understands what triggers, like having compassion for them and for ourselves as well. So yes, communication in the topic of this. Amazing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we got 2 more questions. Leah?
Hi. Yeah, so I was looking at mine, and I think the 25 degrees of Pisces starts in my 7th, but then I think it will move into my 8th house. And I've also got my North Node, South Node, North Node Virgo, South Node Pisces. So I think it will be quite transformative. And I've spoken to you in a reading anyway about that. A lot of themes like with money kind of relating, kind of making me a bit more, I guess, a bit stricter with spending and not just being as frivolous. But I think for me, and I was just going to ask, was I'm feeling a lot more of a kind of resistance with like career at the moment, which I think you spoke about Uranus opposing my moon next year anyway, so that's probably a separate kind of thing. But I don't know whether 2nd and 8th house can also come into career, just in the sense of, with it being my North Node, South Node, just kind of giving me the push, because I've just kind of felt a bit deflated for a while, and just like my heart's not in it, and I've just got to a point where I'm kind of struggling to be there. And it's not anything anybody's done, everybody's really nice, but I just feel like it's not me in a way, and I'm just kind of,
it's a nodal dynamic. The nodes, because that's the thing, the nodes work with consciousness.
So
it's something, no one has done anything wrong. It's just we're not feeling it. It's just like I'm not, because so we're talking about Pisces and the collective. It's more this idea of how we resonate with the space. When I go to a space and I feel recharged, if I'm not having that, the body is gonna get to a point in which it's like, I can't do this because it's just nourishing me in no way. And we're gonna go the Virgo problem. So stomach issues, anxiety, poor sleeping patterns. So with the notes going on that, you're gonna see what next thing needs to be done. But once they're gonna touch, for the next one. So this first one, this could be like groundwork. You see, we're studying the research, but maybe we're not leaving the job tomorrow because you don't have a full picture. So this is like literally playground moment. Like, what happens if I look around and observe and I talk to people and I ask things? So this would definitely change, things.
Over like 6-month period, would you say? Does it just take because I think with my Taurus midheaven, it's that thing of also like struggling to leave where you're quite stable, but then equally I definitely feel at the minute where I am feeling a bit drained. And I think with the stellium,
it's not, because that's the thing, we have to look at the overall chart. So you see, for people that go like Taurus midheaven, of course it's more complicated than maybe the one that's Sagittarius or Aries. But the nodes, the thing with the eclipses, the nodes don't care about where we're at. It's just like they bring the shake that they need to give. So even if we have a midheaven in Taurus, the eclipse is stronger than that. It's like, okay, now we're doing this.
And it will be quite cutthroat, will it? So it won't just, so it'll be quite like harsh endings in a way, just to make you shake things up. It won't be kind of gentle, if that makes sense.
If we put resistance.
Okay.
It's all a matter, eclipses are all a matter of resistance. If we put resistance, then we're gonna have even a bigger shift coming to us.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was a good answer.
You're welcome. I'm gonna look at the chat. My boyfriend got Neptune transiting directly on his Pisces. So your boyfriend is going to turn into a unicorn, which is in opposition of his Virgo Saturn. Advice for him, I mean, in this case, you need to sort it out. What does he want to do in relating, and go with the flow and trust whatever is in there, and getting a bit less Saturn, so a bit less about control or like what people expect from him. Like, what is the most dreamy thing you will love to do in a relationship? For example, if you want to get married, it's like, if he's thinking about the wildest marriage ever, how does it look like? Probably mom won't approve. Who cares? We flow with it. So but it's gonna be a fear, because Saturn is gonna be like, people are gonna judge it and the public is not gonna like it. Whatever. ICMC, Josepha, we answer with the other one. Okay. Anything else? Any other last minute questions? You can write in the chat. You can unmute yourself. So Vanessa has the nodes conjunct planets. So in this, Vanessa, what are you confused about? Hello, my dear.
Hi. Sorry, I just I'm confused because of I'm just generally confused lately, to be honest, Georgia. That's probably what's going on. I think I'm like really just generally confused lately. Has been like a huge theme. I think it's because of the inversion, right? Because my South Node is in Pisces, conjunct my moon, and then my North Node is in Virgo conjunct Saturn. So I feel like there's 4 things to think about somehow instead of just one thing, if that makes sense. I think that's
the thing here is like, you have to go in order, because like with Virgo-Pisces, the point is that you are in your nodal opposition like other people. So this is going to be stronger for you. But the planets you want to focus more are the planets that are connected with your Pisces. So in this case, your moon.
Okay.
So more power to the planets in Pisces, less power to the planets in Virgo.
I'm excited about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, less Saturn, so more moon, more feeling all the feels.
Moon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, amazing. Answering the last thing. So Josefa, yeah, like the first 10,000 was someone else brought the same example. So it's the axis of like family and profession. So it's really this question of asking yourself, what do you want to do professionally? How do you envision this on a family level? Like, what do you want to put out there in your own work? So since your 10th house is in, if it's in Pisces, yeah, motto was like the work, maybe there are some new practices that you want to offer to the public. That could be an option. Yeah, so that's the idea. Play with both sides. People that go strong Virgo, relax. Everything is fine. Everything is good. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And yeah, so amazing. I will send you the recording in 1 hour with also the homework for each couple of houses. As you can see here very quickly, I'm starting the courses next week. There are like 2 spots for each course. I'm doing the Karmic Intermediate course every 18 months. I'm doing the beginners one in 2 weeks. It's usually every 6 months. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it in March again, or if I'm gonna just do it next September again. So if you want to study with me, please be my guest. You know where to find me. Amazing. Saying that, if something is not clear, if you didn't manage to look at your axis in your chart, whatever, just send me an email. I would be very happy to tell you where to look at. Super duper nice. So now you got some insights and lots of homework. I was like, we thought we came here to relax. She lots of stuff to do as usual. Amazing. So I send you a big bacio. Have an happy eclipse. Get some nice relaxing drink tonight and let's hope for the best. I really need to sleep. Ciao Dolcini.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.